Why do you use a 5-inch filter for your P34 X34 intake? We had room for it,
Why not?
and it's a nice big inlet. Um, the size of the opening in the air filter can have a lot to do with how well it flows. Now, granted, a 3-inch tube still flows a tremendous amount of air, but once you add the restriction of the filter elements, then it helps to make the inlet bigger, which is why virtually all of our intakes are at least 4 inches up to 5 inches. There was really no benefit going bigger than that, but yeah, generally if you can have a nice big inlet. Now we're obviously necking down to a smaller diameter, but you have to keep in mind a 5-inch air filter is going to have a lot more challenges to flowing as a 3-inch tube, which has nothing inside it, right? So as you make the component bigger, if there are flow restrictions in that component, then it helps to make it bigger, which is precisely why bigger throttle bodies flow better. Why you might want a 84 millimeter throttle body going into a 3-inch pipe. Because the 84 millimeter throttle body has a butterfly inside it and a shaft, and all those things disrupt the flow. So by making the size of the restricted component bigger, then you can offset a lot of the fact that there's stuff in the way, right? Trying to think of an example, but you know, if you're at Costco and there's like 8 different people just standing in the aisle, and then if you could make the aisle twice as wide, then you have more room to go down the aisle. And that's been my experience. Is I go to Costco and there's just people standing right in the aisles, completely oblivious to anyone else existing in the universe.
I don't know what it's like to walk around the world where your
Yeah.
existence like ends in like the
But
reach of your
the
arms.
problem is, if you just made the aisle twice as wide, there would then be 16 people standing.
Yes, yeah. The human race is not
Yes.
so inclined to just allow for more
Yeah.
space.
But with the case of an air filter, you make it 5 inches, and like random people just don't come and stand in the opening, so it actually flows more.
Oh, hold on.
It's a great.
Speaking of, would my CTS turbo intake fit with the new throttle body upgrade for the B8 atmosphere?
No CTS. It will fit in the
That
trash.
that intake is
Just-
by far the worst flowing thing we have ever flown.
It's so bad.
It is terrible.
It's like a cheap Chinese
like-
filter, something. I don't know.
It's
like an
just-
eBay
it's
filter.
awful.
Yeah. No, you should throw that
you
away.
should never pair that with anything.
It's funny because people buy it thinking it's for performance. But it's the opposite.
It's wretched. It is one of the worst filter elements we've ever seen. And then yeah, if you think you're gonna get power then by putting a bigger throttle body behind it, it's your restriction is further ahead than the throttle body there.
Yeah. It's like going to the club to pick up some girls and then just getting kicked in the
So yeah,
nuts.
copy that. Okay. Yeah, right. I guess
Like
that's
as
I
you
guess
walk in
that's
the
an
door,
analogy.
someone just kicks you in the nuts, and then you just are like crying on the floor.
kind of forget about the
You
girls
get
at that
no
point.
chicks, right? That's the no milfs.
no
Milfs definitely not. But that's like what happens.
you're
That's like
club
basically
and
like buying the CTS intake. It's like getting kicked in the nuts. All right.